I want to find out from you. In what way exactly did you communicate the gospel to the extent of you being banned from the SDA?
The whole idea I've just explained to you. When we emphasize colonial culture and our response towards social issues is detached from the community itself. I'm very grateful for what Tagwire is doing. And I think he has won my heart. Where for the first time I'm beginning to see, but he's doing it at a personal capacity.
Yeah.
Where he's now walking over to the communities. And we've been contributing offerings for the church for the past 200 years.
Wow.
We can't account for that. When you go on the list of people who are externalizing money in the country, the church is included on that because we've been moving money to the system, as I've explained it, for years. But we've never seen it coming back. We've built our own churches here, we've built our own schools, and etc. But we don't see this system bringing funds down. And when you begin to raise these issues, you are bitter. You are not happy with the church. You must, you're trying to make money out of the church. So, and for me, I don't have to try to be an Adventist. I was born an Adventist, born and bred. I'm actually one of the best Adventists they can ever find.
Are you still Adventist?
Educated from their best institutions, the best professors. If they want to reference Adventism, you better ask me.
But are you still Adventist?
What does it mean to be an Adventist? Ask me first if I'm an African.
No, not African.
You're asking me, I can ask you also.
Okay.
Yes.
Adventist. Are you still an Adventist? Since Magans know.
If Adventism means institutionalized waiting for the second coming of Christ, then I'm not working and functioning within the peripherals of the institution. But if Adventism means waiting for Jesus, then Catholics can be Adventist.
Okay.
Lutherans can be Adventist. Baptists and Presbyterians, so Pentecostals and Episcopals. So anyone who is waiting for the second coming of Christ is Adventist. So you're waiting for the Advent.
So from the way you're explaining, you were more like a rebel from your fellows.
Oh, well, rebellion is one thing, conformity is another thing. You can judge which one is better.
Yeah. Bishop Maponga on the spot. So we are live on Facebook page, Star FM page, as well as my page. So judging from the way you speak or even preach, I would assume. I would want to assume, Guti, you are a strong believer of the African religion. And how did you the transition, from being a pastor at SDA to becoming a Pan-Africanist?
Look at the person. When you're growing physically, you must also grow mentally. That's why Paul says, when I was young, I spoke like a young boy. I did what young boys did. But now I'm grown up now. And I speak like a man. And when I was a kindergarten, when I was a pathfinder, when I was a master guide, and I spoke like a master guide. I spoke like... But now in my 53 years later, when I look and consolidate all this information, which I have studied from African literature to ancient literature to all the stuff around, including Adventist theology and other theology, and you consolidate it together, I think I got a brain on my shoulders. Why would God create us with a brain and then not allow us to use it? Then what is it for? The head is not for cosmetic use, for the purposes of thinking. And when we stop thinking, we start becoming zombies in systems. And that's what exactly people are looking for. Conformity.
But you know what, Bishop, what changed the way you view things? Or maybe should I say, what changed your beliefs?
Change of belief, transition of belief, polishing of belief, application of belief, and consolidating beliefs. Quite a number of variety of issues that are here ringing in my head when you're asking me what changed. Social gospel changed me. The way the church looks at land issues changed me. The way the church looks at politics changed me. The way the church looks at education and economics. And you're looking at this body, which is supposed to be an institution of learning and transformation. From the church I'm coming from. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. Their favorite commandment. Commandment number 4. And they say, okay, have we taught people how to labor for 6 days? I know we are rushing that they must rest. We are church in Sabbath. The issue is not the Sabbath. It is illegal for you to rest on Sabbath and you have not worked for 6 days. You can't rest if you have not worked. This is the commandment that teaches us labor. And so when you have a church that only teaches people how to rest and does not teach people how to labor for 6 days, in other words, by keeping the Sabbath, you are breaking the Sabbath. Because you can't rest if you have not worked.
Awuna kushanda.
God worked for 6 days and he rested. And we rest as he has rested. Therefore, anyone who says he is a Sabbath keeper and does not respect work and labor and wealth creation, returning of land to its rightful owners every 50 years, bloody hell. These words have held our land for more than 400 years. And the Bible says, bring it back to its original owners. And the church is silent on these issues. And then I get worked up.
Okay.
Because we're holding the Bible here
Yes.
and then we run around tiptoeing, selecting
Yes.
what we think we like. And because the white people are the owners of the church, we tiptoe around them and stuff like that. No, I've gone past that.
In one of your sermons, Bishop, you talked about white Jesus in the court. The day a white Jesus will die for black people, I will believe in a white Jesus. Close quote. You went on to say white people and their white Jesus promise Africans gold in heaven while they are taking gold from Africans. It doesn't make sense to at all that you are being promised to walk on gold in heaven while they are taking gold from you. Close quote. So please, I want you to elaborate more on that statement.
The whole issue is that when God creates this world, using the biblical narrative, of course, and he places people, Acts chapter 19, on the faces of the earth, he distributed us in our own tribes and etc. and place, so that all of us can look for God, though he's not far away from any one of us. And each land has its own wealth, its own treasure. But then the white people come into black space. And because black people are found not believing in the white way, they are labeled as pagans. So the white people consider themselves as the chosen nation. And they have a right of taking the land which does not belong to them. But because the people who own the land don't believe in God, then the Israel-Palestine model comes into place. I'll give you a land which belongs to other people. But because they are non-believers, you can have it. And when you look at white people beginning to use religion as a means of colonialism, that's when I have a problem right there. So we cannot be preaching about people walking on the streets of gold when you have not even touched gold on earth. Kuzototora piki makorokoza na mashurubu makuchera goride. I'm saying in that space, let's learn to work. We cannot use theology as a means of escaping our responsibility and our blessings on earth. Then why did he create us here? To do what? To wait for him to come back. Occupy till I come. I want you to be heads, not tails, that you might own. Genesis chapter 1. Before even the 10 commandments in Exodus. Be fruitful, multiply, fill up the earth, have dominion and power. Was this dominion only given to white people? Or the dominion was given to all of us? Then why do we allow the white race to become the only ones who must dominate us? As if we are servants on the commandment that God gave us. And I believe, if you want to read the Bible correctly, when he says have dominion over the fish of the air, the birds of the air, and the animals of the field, that commandment is to the red Indian, to the Chinaman, to the white man, equally so to the black man. So what do we have dominion over? Except words.
So by saying white Jesus, isn't that some kind of a blasphemy or mockery to the Christ?
You need to go back into your history, young man, and find out exactly when did the whitening of Jesus happen from the Council of Nicaea.
Tell us.
Is the original Messiah a white man? Where is the history of Jesus? What is his background? Who was his mother? Where is Africa? Why was he hiding in Africa if he was a white man? Did we not see him? Are you telling me that the white people came to Egypt as slaves? Answer is big fat no. White people have never been Jews. In fact, they are what called Ashkenaz. Go and read a book, The 13th Tribe by Ford, and you find interesting history that these Jews who call themselves Jews in the book of Revelation 2, they're from the temple of Satan. They're not even the real Jews.
But do you have anything against the Bible?
I have nothing against the Bible. The problem is those that interpret it, number one. Two, and those that claim to know the script and they ignore the historicity of the text itself. The Bible does not just fall from heaven, boom, and it ends up here. You need to go back and read the Anunnaki texts. You need to go back and read the epics of Gilgamesh. You need to go back and read the Enuma Elish. You need to go and read the Book of the Dead. You need to go and read and consolidate.
The Book of the Dead?
Yes, the Book of Egypt, which is called the Book of Life or Book of the Dead. Then you go back and read the cuneiforms and find out the Ethiopian Bible. Then come back to the Dead Sea Scrolls and then look at the transformation of the Bible. And as the Bible is moving towards us, lots of text lots of references are falling off. Other books are being excluded. By the time you have something that you call the Bible, you're actually having something. You read the Bible saying, for example, as it is written in the book of Enoch, as it is written in the book of the Annex of Samuel, and those books are not there. So if you say reading the Apocrypha is sinful, then how can you be quoting, how can the Bible be quoting the non-inspired and the Bible is inspired itself? The whole book of Jude is a quotation from the book of Enoch. So how can you tell people not to read the book of Enoch? And the book of Enoch will tell you that the white people are children of demons. And so the white men will not allow such texts to become part of the Bible.
So in other words, take on those who believe in the ancestral spirits.
You are your own ancestor. You are your father. You are your mother. The tree has 3 elements to it, if not 4. It is the roots, where the background is. It is the trunk itself and the branches. It is the fruit that is sitting on the tree. And inside the tree is the seed. And the seed is not the branches. The branches is not the stem. The stem is not the roots. But what is in the seed is in the branches, and the root supports everything else. Now, as a young person, you need to know your grandfathers, your forefathers are the roots. Through them, your fathers become. And through your fathers, you have become.
Very true.
Ancestral thing must be understood correctly. Mudzi, umu, mudzimu.
In today's era, Bishop, the number of men of God, is increasing by day, and we don't really know, the true and fake prophets, as well as their agendas. According to your knowledge, Bishop, do you think they exist? I mean,
the thing of men of God, the church has become a beautiful commercial space. It's non-taxable space. And unfortunately, many of the people who ended up in theology did not do very well in terms of academic work.
Okay.
And only a few who are really academically alert. And unfortunately, those that are less intellectually inclined end up running those that are intellectuals.